Tiger Woods has been a pretty harsh critic of the newly propped up LIV Golf Series. And while some of the top PGA Tour players have switched sides to join Greg Norman's venture, the 18-time major champion thinks it's going to implode on itself due to lack of competition. So in today's video, we're going to talk about whether the Saudi League actually makes players perform worse or not. First up, LIV Golf has shaken the PGA Tour to its core. Now, before we even get into the whole nitty-gritty details of player performance and competitiveness, we've got to take a look at how well Greg Norman's been doing against the PGA Tour. Like, no one was expecting an upstart league to be this successful, but here we are, with golfers like Brooks Koepka and Phil Mickelson leaving their legacy behind and moving over to the other side. And it's kind of taken the whole PGA hierarchy by surprise too, as even they didn't anticipate such a quick turnaround for the Saudi League. But then again, it's not like they're building from scratch. In fact, Norman's been building up to this moment for decades, and all he needed was funding, which he's got unlimited of now. Of course, the tour has suspended most of the defectors, but that hasn't made much of a difference either. So now they're just standing with their backs against the wall, waiting to see how things develop, because what else could they do at this point? Well, as it turns out, might be a little inherent flaw with the Australians' Death Star plans. And if the PGA's Jay Monahan plays his cards right and aims for the ventilation shaft, he can possibly set back Norman's empire and bring some hope back for the traditional golf fans. Up next, the fault in LIV Golf's stars. The LIV Golf Series is already well underway and on track to hold its fourth invitational next month at the International. And while it's been an alright watch for the most part, it just feels a bit hollow, like there's something missing from it. Oh, and we're not talking about all that sport romanticism mumbo-jumbo about the spirit of the game. No, the issue is way more tangible than that. You see, since LIV Golf signings get a super long contract, they don't really feel that jeopardy of being relegated out of its ranks. Like, if you sign a $200 million contract, they're obviously not going to offload you and make you sit out, even if you play the worst round of golf anyone's ever played. So perhaps the stars in Greg Norman's league don't feel that same type of pressure to perform, which, as evident, results in a bogged-down competitiveness. Also, no one likes turning down the chance to party after getting a massive paycheck. And for these Saudi League rebels, that life-changing paycheck just keeps coming, further distracting them from the playing side of things. To be fair, though, these are still invitational events and don't represent the Australians' final vision. So for all intents and purposes, things could end up looking completely different in a year or two anyway. Now, Tiger Woods might have a point after all. Being one of, if not the greatest golfer of all time, Tiger Woods has earned the right to critique anything that doesn't sit well with him. And this whole competitiveness issue with LIV Golf is definitely one of those things that stepped on his nerves, as the 46-year-old didn't hesitate to go on a rant about it. According to him, it just doesn't make sense for any young aspiring golfer to switch over to the Saudi League. Like, obviously, there's tons of money to be made here, but the fact of the matter is that no one will remember the upstarts league champion in the history books as they do for someone who wins the Masters or the PGA Championship. Plus, at the end of the day, it's all about creating a legacy for any sportsman. The 18-time major champion also feels disappointed in the future that the game's heading in. For him, golf's all about the ups, downs, and that sweet final triumph. But the new league has kind of taken away from all those pivotal moments in a player's career, as there just aren't any stakes involved. And for him, anyone who's ever tasted the thrill of winning a major championship just can't replicate that feeling anywhere else. Besides, it's understandable if you're a 50-year-old like Mickelson and want to make some extra cash in the twilight of your career. If you're an up-and-coming golfer, though, then switching sides should be antithetical to everything that you were raised on. For instance, any aspiring golfer wants to be a part of the PGA Tour and play with the best players on the planet. So when they choose to pursue money instead, they're also kind of killing their own dream at the same time. Also, there's just no incentive to play golf anymore. Now, the players aren't at fault for shaking Greg Norman's hand and moving over to the dark side. Like, most people would do the same if they were put in those players' shoes. It's just that, according to Tiger Woods, the format of LIV Golf is so inherently broken that it doesn't make sense for anyone to even try. We've already talked at length about how there's no risk of losing your place in the league, even if you perform horrendously. So all you've got to do is party for 3 weeks, turn up with a hangover, miss a bunch of shots, and go home to another massive paycheck. Obviously, the situation isn't nearly as dire, but you get the point, right? After that, there's the problem of the events themselves. While they might be good by themselves, they carry no weight in golfing history, making them kind of hollow and meaningless. But then again, it's not like the US Open has been around since the beginning of time. What we can't skirt around, however, is the fact that the series has 54-hole rounds, rather than your usual 72-hole tests or 36-hole playoffs. And while this is done to speed up the game and take the monotony out of it for a better viewing experience, audience. Woods thinks the players are going to suffer because of it. For him, there's nothing like a good old endurance round of golf. Oh, and he also thinks that blaring music and promoting entertainment during a tournament is ridiculous, which, to be fair, is a bit of a boomer take, but we'll let it go since he's the GOAT. Next, let's take a look at some actual facts and numbers. Alright, so saying negative stuff about the tournament's easy, and LIV Golf supporters would say that none of Woods' sentiments have any semblance of truth to them, but we've actually got some anecdotal evidence to back up his statement. Take Phil Mickelson, for example. The 52-year-old was on top of the world last year when he became the oldest player in history to win a major championship. As soon as he signed his $200 million deal with Greg Norman, though, it all started going downhill for him. Of course, there was the whole controversy about his remarks, too, that made him take a 4-month-long hiatus. But ever since he's come back, things just haven't been the same. Like, not only did he fail to make the cut at this year's U.S. Open, but he's also only managed scores of 75 or above in his past 6 outings. As a matter of fact, he's now a combined 40-plus in 11 rounds of golf since signing that LIV contract. Oh, and it's not just him either. Other players around him have also seen massive dips in form due to the very reasons that we discussed earlier. And this correlation was pretty evident at the U.S. Open, where most of the Saudi League contingent dipped out before the final day. With that said, maybe things aren't as doom and gloom as we think, because at the end of the day, if people are watching it, then they must be doing something right. We mean, the Australians' focus on younger audiences and making the game more accessible to watch is definitely a step in the right direction. So now it's just a matter of bringing that competitive edge to the league, which honestly isn't something that's out of the realm of possibility. And finally, Tiger Woods isn't fazed by LIV Golf money. Greg Norman's probably asked every top player to join his league at this point, and that obviously includes Tiger Woods as well. Apparently, the 46-year-old rejected an $800 million deal to join LIV Golf, a sum that would have turned him into a billionaire overnight. Oh, and just for some context, this amount is literally higher than all the other players combined. So it's a testament to Woods' self-belief and will that he hasn't given in to the allure. Plus, maybe this is one of the many reasons why he's so frustrated with the Saudi League, because chances are they've been pestering him for a while now. But the 18-time major winner is an old-school golfer who believes in traditions and legacy, so there was no way that anyone was going to pull him away from the PGA Tour that easily. And that's a wrap for this video. Do you think Tiger Woods is right about LIV Golf's problems? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. And we'll see you in the next one.